David Lovejoy with KGNC News Radio. I'm joined today by the Honorable Mayor Ginger Nelson. Thank you for taking time out to speak with us today, Mayor.
Thank you, David.
Mayor, a lot of things have been going on here recently in the city. Disruption in city council meetings, lawsuits, those sort of things. Tell us a little bit about the state of what's going on.
Well, the most important thing from the council's point of view is that we're able to get the city's business done. There's a small group of people in our city who have taken it upon themselves to create an environment of intimidation, to try and disrupt the city being able to take care of its citizens and do the business that we need to do. Whether they're creating a fake Facebook page or whether they're coming to a city council meeting with the intent to create a disruption, their purpose is clear. They're not about the city being able to conduct its business and take care of the other 190,000 citizens that are relying on us to manage public safety, to take care of our streets and roads. I mean, right now we have firefighters that are out there fighting grass fires, putting their lives on the line. I'm so grateful that we have that. We need to support them. And there's business of the city that needs to be conducted in order to take care of all of those services so that we can provide services for every citizen, not just answer the demands of a small group of people.
Now, just yesterday, Representative Tinderholt out of District 94, which is in South Texas, the Arlington, Tarrant County area, weighed in, sent you a letter speaking about how he felt about this clapping controversy, as it's being called. How do you feel about him weighing in on an issue that's not in his yard?
I think it's a publicity stunt. I never received the letter. He didn't send it to me. I've not been contacted by him. He lacks context of the overall issue here, and there's some mischaracterizations about the situation. So he probably didn't even know that the individual in question had been planning for nearly a week to create civil discourse at the meeting. It's also interesting, I think, that he is associated with Empower Texans, and they're the same PAC out of South Texas that tried to insert themselves into our local primary elections back in February, into Senator Seliger's race and Representative Price's race. They're about creating an environment of intimidation and confusion so that they can get their way. And we stood up to them as a community, and we said, we get to vote on who we want to represent us. You don't intimidate us. And here they are back in our community again, creating division, creating chaos, and trying to intimidate us.
I did some research on the gentleman, and recently he yelled at an Arlington City Council member during a meeting about some safety regulations. So I guess this is par for the course and how he does business. One of the things that you ran on, and a lot of you were elected for, was to bring a civil being or a calming presence to our city government. Good years leading up to the election and past boards, and not saying blaming or saying it was their fault, there were some raucous meetings. And that was one of the hallmarks, especially of your campaign, was to bring civility back to politics, to treat each other with decency and not so much run to one side or the other. Speak to that, to speak to the people about that, and why you will continue to try to hold that line.
I love that question. That was one of the main points of the campaign, was to bring stability back to our local city government, and we need to do that by changing the tone of how we have conversations about city issues. And there has to be a foundation of respect for those conversations. We don't have to agree, although I think on most things we do agree. But the things that we're going to disagree on, we have to have a platform of respect to listen to each other. We worked so hard at City Council since that election to create that atmosphere of respect. We've not changed any rules lately. We've been doing this ever since we took over in June. or of May of last year, coming close up on a year. It's very, very important that, especially during that public comment portion of the meeting, it's a special time during the meeting where we have silence so that people's ideas can be heard. And number two, so that we don't create an environment that is intimidating to that one citizen who might have a disagreeing opinion. So if we have 100 people there and 99 of them agree with what was just said and they clap and they cheer, what kind of environment have we created for the one person who has a dissenting opinion? Have we let him or her be so intimidated they might not actually come to the podium and bring that other perspective? As an elected official, I need to hear that other perspective. And so if we allow clapping, then should we also allow booing and hissing? Where do we draw the line? All of those things create an atmosphere of intimidation. And what's so important about protecting people's First Amendment rights is that they actually feel like they are safe and can come forward and exercise their right. So there's nothing happening different at City Council that hasn't been happening for many, many months now under the Decorum policy. And there's nothing happening in the City of Amarillo business meetings that isn't also happening at the Texas legislature, college classrooms, churches, other business meetings. We in society operate under rules of decorum all the time. And it's so that people can get business accomplished and progress can be made. And we have those same needs in our city and must set those boundaries so that we can get the city's business done during the city's meetings.
Now, Mayor, is there anything you'd like to let the citizens know, the general public know about moving forward, how council meetings will be and the policies, or how public comment will be handled?
We had a great meeting on Tuesday where the council spent an hour discussing the decorum policy. Did something need to change? We're open to improving it any way we need to make a change to improve. We are going to shift a little bit how people sign up for public comment and be experimenting, trying to remove any barriers that people might have to coming to the podium to make a comment. But overall, the council was extremely supportive of the existing policy, and we're not making substantial or really any changes to how that portion of the meeting is going to run.
Thank you, Mayor. We really appreciate taking time out of your busy day to address this, and moving forward, just let us know what we can talk about, what we can do to do the main thing we all want to do, and that's make Amarillo better.
Thank you, David.